Yo,
Hey, I'm here.
awesome, awesome. Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about how to start a window cleaning business. We got a lot of good information for you guys. We're not going to get too deep. We don't want to get too advanced. We're just going to start with the basics today. So if you
Okay.
maybe already have a company going, this might not be the video or podcast for you. But if you're just starting out and you're struggling, this information is going to help.
Yep.
So I'm Mo with an M.
Paris with a P.
uh, I guess we can go ahead. We start out with pricing. That's always
Sure.
a good place to start.
Yeah.
I know you put together a nice little diagram to try to make things a little bit simpler.
Nice.
If you want to go start
Yeah.
with that,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I mean, it's great
Good
quality. I
job.
thought.
Yeah. All right. So, don't overthink anything in your business. Okay. There's a system and it works for most people. All right. So if these are all panes here, and that's a little door. It's a crappy little storefront looking. That's a nice storefront actually. It's a nice
Yeah, I
store, I'm
like
sure.
it. I
Oh
like
yeah,
it.
probably
It looks
selling
like a
whatever.
Starbucks or something. It looks
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I like.
It looks very
I go
nice.
get my coffee there because I'm a snob, I guess. So if this window, you can reach the top of it, we'll call it one. But if you can't reach this window, say your height's right here, you can only reach half of it, I would count this as two, okay? But assuming you can reach this whole window, right? That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That'd be a $15 job just for the exterior, another 15 for the interior.
Yep.
It's as
And if
simple as that.
anyone,
Some
yep.
areas and some more experienced people might charge a little bit more, and in a lot of situations, I would, but I've been doing it 10 years. But
All right.
if you're new, don't go cheaper than that. There are guys that charge in my own area that's undercut a couple of my accounts, which is fine. They're doing stuff as low as 20 to 30 cents per paint,
Wow.
and they have rust bucket cars, and they're wearing ripped up clothes. They don't have an actual business card. There's a reason, because they can't actually afford it. There's only so fast you can clean a window, and there's only so many hours in a day.
Right.
So,
And then kind of like he stated, it was $15 for the outside. It's $15 for the
yeah,
inside. The one thing I want to point out is just Jesus, if someone's complaining about your price, you do less work for less money. Okay. Don't do the same amount of work for less pay. All right. So with that being said, I would offer them outside only. If they felt like the $30 was too much, offer them outside only for $15. Okay. So you're doing less work for less money. That's the way that should work out.
there's so many things I can go into with this. But you're doing a route job. Okay, why don't we do the inside every other time? So as opposed to charging
Yeah.
you, let's say it's a job that's $20 for the exterior, $40 for the interior, and they're like, well, I want to have it inside and out 2 times a month. I'm like, okay, $80. The last guy did it for $60. Can you do it at 60? Well, we could do the inside every other time. That's what that I don't negotiate my price down. I negotiate the amount of work that I do down, not the quality either. That's a big difference. Some guys
Right.
they'll be thinking to themselves, okay, well I'm going to do it for cheaper, and I'm just going to not wipe the sills. They're not going to be a fan of you, and they're not going to refer you. I get a lot of referrals now that I changed my style of business, and I'm a little bit more on the higher end side now, just charging more. So, yeah, man, you gotta price things to do quality, man, because you're gonna have to cut corners if it's too low.
Yeah,
That's all.
that was a
Yeah,
good point too. Talking about don't jeopardize the quality just because you didn't price the job right. You got to think this is your reputation you're building. You're building a brand, and you want to protect that brand. So the last thing you want to do because you didn't price it right or you feel like you're doing too much, is jeopardize your name by
yeah,
doing subpar work. And I can tell you now, I've actually gotten so many accounts, from people where I walk by, I would wipe my hand across that dirty seal, and I mean my hand would just be filthy, and I would walk in there and talk to the owner or the manager and ask them did they have a window cleaner, and it's like always 9 times out of 10, first thing they say is, oh yeah, he was just here the other day, and give me a second here. Sorry about that. They would just say, yeah, he was just here the other day, and then I would show them my hand and show them the subpar work that he did, and I kid you not. Um, I would credit almost 40% of my route work that I still have today to those people not doing their job right. So I encourage you, don't cut corners.
Yeah, I'm always surprised that there's guys that do really quality work that are really low prices. What happens is they come and go. So they'll they treat it as side money, and that's what you'll get when you treat it as just a side job. I guess it's another tangent we can go off on. But man, people that don't do it full time, they end up losing those accounts, and because they're not making enough, so they gotta get another job. So their other job gets in the way. So treat it as an actual business as anything else. If you don't respect this business, and it's not going to respect you back or
Right.
take care, you're going to get fed up with it. And I just take my issues that I once had, and anyone else had, and just learn from it. You'll fall on your sword in a lot of ways, but this is
Yeah.
the biggest issue. You want to talk about tools now?
Uh, well, real quick, I wanted to point out too, like with
Oh,
the pricing, was the make sure they have a minimum. A
oh
minimum
yeah,
price. The last thing you want to do is just, even if a place only has, like, I know we gave the example of a dollar per pane. If a
yeah,
place only has like two or three windows, you need to have a minimum that you're going to do that job for. And like me and Paris, ours is $10, which is, honestly, we believe we believe is a little bit too low, um, for that by itself. But at least have some type of minimum, no matter, if I don't care if you just got one big window and a door, it's $10. Period.
yeah.
And you got to.
Area, I don't go too far anymore, so it's easy to do $10 minimums. I got two accounts they have two panes. So it would be $2. By that logic, that's ridiculous, of course. But so yeah, those two accounts are $10 each. Um, I wouldn't go too far, and I wouldn't. I know you're going to want your customers to control you on these, but you can't go just have your customers choose your account. So you can't go to an hour this way to hour this way to hour here. Route all your accounts local. So you'll have um, you know your city right next door, whatever, Johnsonville. All the Johnsonville accounts are going to go on Tuesday, every other Tuesday, however you want to set that up. And
Yeah,
if you're going
I
to
would
build,
never promise the. Yeah, I would kind of go along with what you're saying. I would never promise dates either, because you set yourself up for for a stressful situation. When people, they're
sure.
always going to ask you, when are you coming back out, or they're going to try to force you into a date. Don't do that with them. Let them know, we're in your area on. I always say in my own company, I always tell them, we'll be in your area on Monday, between Monday and Wednesday, weather permitting, workload wise. You will be there consistently every 2 weeks or monthly around the same time. But I never give them an exact date, because they hold you to it. If you don't show up exactly on Monday at 2 o'clock, you're a terrible window cleaner and you're so unreliable. So that's a sure way to prevent that from happening, is never promise dates. Don't get caught up in
Yeah,
that.
that's with everything. You need to set a standard for every single part of it. Don't let them control you every time. You start making appointments throughout the day, that's going to be an issue. If you let them choose a specific date, they're going to expect that certain date, and then they're going to be upset with you when you're not on that date. So you say, hey, I'm going to come every other week. We shoot for Tuesday, but sometimes it changes a day or two, maybe even more, depending on weather and what's going on. So you won't be able to tell if I don't. I used to get over time, over the years that passed, I got less spiely about it. Now I don't even talk about it. So I have bigger problems to deal with than a route job. So because I don't really even care. But the less I care about I say there's something about not caring, but I you're on my schedule. You're doing things my way, and I don't care
Hmm.
one way or the other. No, they'll if you're good at what you do, once you've actually cleaned them, they'll be cool with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
don't discount for bulk. There's no such thing. I used to do this too, bulk. You got 500 windows, so we're gonna do it at $300 because there's no travel time to it. Nope, 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 nope. And in fact, it'd be better off being the other way. So for accounts that because there is travel time, you need to charge more for it. I've been doing it a long time. People know who I am. I'm more experienced. I clean more accounts than anyone, probably all the companies combined as far as route in my area. Although I'm not a route cleaner, but I was primarily a window cleaner for about 10 years. So yeah, I could pull that off. A new guy's not going to be able to. But you need to stand your ground, and it costs what it costs. Once you grow and scale a little bit, if you want to, or if once you get all the proper tools, or some more tools, you realize they're not free, man, and there's a reason why all the big guys charge what they charge. It's
Yeah.
not because we can. It's not that we're greedy. We try to make as much as we can, but you don't want to punish yourself for being good at what you do. Oh, I'm faster. That charging by the hour. I'm actually surprised that so many people that have been doing it a long time still do that. Because what happens is I did this for maybe my first 5 years. Charge by the hour for anything that would take longer than an hour. That was my rule. But what happened is I would think of how fast I could do it if I moved my fastest. And you're never moving at top speed all the time. And I wanted like 50, 60 bucks an hour. Doesn't work out that way because your guys are not going to be as fast as you. Eventually you get them. You cannot charge by the hour. Cannot. So if you want to take advice.
Yeah, and I know that may be hard to stomach for someone who's just starting out. I get it. You're hungry, you're starving, and you just want to get going. You want some income coming in. Once you start that vicious cycle of discounts and you're not charging the correct amount, I'm telling you, long term, you are going to regret every single one of those accounts. If you just if you just buckle down, stick with the pricing, and don't be afraid of rejection. Because a lot of people are going to tell you no, because the industry, in my opinion, price wise, has been destroyed by these bucket bobs running around doing this job for nothing. Okay, so customers are getting used to paying nothing for window cleaning, and they kind of expect that. Um, Stick firm with your pricing. You'll be a lot happier if you're making adequate amount of money for the job. So definitely, I agree with Paris. I don't care if you have 500 windows, you're going to pay for every one of them. We're not discounting the job, period. Stick with that. You'll grow a lot faster. And that's what this is all about.
If I'm telling you to do it this way and you're trying to pick up accounts for the first time, you need to sell exactly what I'm saying per account. Don't tell them that you charge $1 per pane. Just charge it what you charge it and sell it with confidence. Don't, when you're first going out, I know, at least for me, I wear my emotions on my face, right? And my body language. I'd be, $200, real. Is that okay? Almost asking stupid questions like that. It's $200 to do it. When can I get started? You go into a place. Looks like your window cleaner is skipping a lot of windows. He's not wiping the ledges. Can I give you an estimate? That's how I pick up accounts. I used to have these crazy spiels. Can I give you an estimate? All right. Yeah, it's $200. Last guy's doing it for $100. Yeah, I could tell he's doing about $100 worth of work, and you have $200 worth of windows here. And so I think, and this is my opinion, this is me talking to the customer in this same role play. If they're skipping all the high windows and they're only cleaning the bottom ones, it looks really weird, right? Can you see it? And when they don't wipe the frame or the sill and it's just brown, do you think that makes I know you're concerned with the glass, but doesn't the whole window look really bad when the frames are dirty? Yeah. And then they'll usually walk around with you. That's a point. It's a good point you're making. And I hate to spend a lot more money. Can you do it for $150? I'm telling you, it needs to be $200 to do it properly.
Yeah.
I'm getting that.
And that's great. It's like what you did there. It's like you sold the value on the job. It's like that's what we should be doing here, is selling the value. It's not about the price. Sell the value of what you're going to be getting. When I come, we're going to scrub down those filthy frames that your current window cleaner isn't doing for you. It's like, sell the value. That's awesome.
All right, my phone. I got to throw it on the charger and set it back up in my little stand here.
No.
Over and over, man. I had to break those habits. It took a long time to break.
Yeah.
The best sales techniques I could tell you is just being real straightforward and confident. Ask them, and you need to. There's a lot of people that just feel like they don't deserve to make any money. They don't realize how much it costs to run a business. They think, if I'm talking to people about it, like, man, you charge it you did all these windows in under an hour, and you made $150. Yeah, I did. Simple as that. I don't put that in my pocket either. I remember I had, even when I was an undercutter, I had an account that was $5. Not to go on too much of a rant, but he'd be like, "Oh, $5 in 5 minutes. You must be a millionaire." His business was barely making it, which is ridiculous. It's such a tiny account, and it's not about, because there's still travel time, right? I had to travel to get there, right? That wasn't free.
Right.
When you when you went to your job, it's not like, if you were a window cleaner trying to start on your own, you clock in at work, not when you go to the account.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
travel time there. They have a sales team. Eventually you will, or you have to spend money on marketing. That's not free. I realized once I could spend, over time you'll realize, wow, I get it now. I could spend a ton of money on marketing and get that phone call running, so you don't have to be running around picking up these accounts. I don't want to get you overexcited. That's a little bit down the road, but
Right.
keep going, man.
Yeah, trust me, we'll get into that end of things. Just right now we're gonna take a slow baby steps and just
Listen, man,
get you
I
in
want
the
to
door.
rant. Yeah, for sure. Like, you don't want, like, just get going too. You're gonna get a lot of no's. If you're not making money off of, you get an account that should be $30, and you're saying 10, $15 just because the other guy's doing $30. Once you have an employee, and actually this is important, or if you need a helper, because at some point you will. If you get a little hurt, your back's hurt one day, or as you're getting older, you're not gonna be a solo window cleaner. If that's your goal, to be a solo window cleaner, you're probably gonna want a helper eventually, or an employee. And if you're, at the end of the day, it costs so much to have an employee. So if your margins are so little that you're making 10% off that employee, you're not going to be able to pay yourself, right? I'll just make up some numbers real quick. So if it costs you $120 to have an employee, because it's beyond what you pay an hour, and it's $120 at the end of the day, and you're pulling in $150, you're making $30. How are you supposed to make money? You can't just create business out of thin air. You have to be priced right to wherever you can.
You're not making. You're not making. No, 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 no. That you're not even making $30, because what we didn't go into is, what about that supplies? What
Right.
about the gas in the car?
Having an
What about
employee
the
is so
insurance that
expensive.
you have to pay for? Like, no, you're not getting $30, not at all.
Yeah, so when you go around, you might get a lot of no's, but you're better off having one account. I do a lot less work than I used to. You're better off having one account priced right than 20 accounts priced wrong. I had 5 guys doing routes locally, and not just locally, all over, and I was completely broke. I can't stress this enough, man. I was absolutely broke. I was making the same amount as my best employee. And I was doing, if as a business owner, you have to answer calls all the time, and you have to do sales on the weekend. You might have to do in the beginning, if you're just quitting your job and you're going off on your own. And once I increased my prices, I realized, well, I need to throw away all the accounts that are, a certain distance away, unless I charge a premium, and I still didn't want to deal with it. I'm hitting a wall here.
uh, I like, kind of like what you're saying. It's like, think about it like this, and I've used this scenario before. Would you rather do 4 jobs that pay you $150 to make $600, or would you rather do one job for $600 and have that free time to market your business and continue to grow? And that's basically what we're getting at here, is when you charge more, a higher price, it's so much more better than going around chasing after these little tiny peanut jobs. Charge premium prices every time. You'll be a lot happier.
It's weird to think, because what happens, even there's bigger companies. I know how everyone's running their business, right? So even with the bigger companies, they're not charging enough. They're cutting corners on the jobs, so then they lose accounts. Then they have to have more salespeople. They have to give free stuff away to those people, and that's even hurting them more. So it's like a perpetual cycle where you're just the guys that are really busy. Sometimes they're not making any money, especially on the routes, or getting overly busy trying to keep up. They're not going to be able to service everyone right. So they're running around trying to keep their head above water to the point where they can't afford to get the right sales and marketing plan going. I can't stress it enough. Like, there's just so many more expenses. So you might realize, okay, at the end of the day, I made $30 an hour, and you're excited about that, and it sounds really good. But as a business owner, $30 an hour is simply not enough. Once you get off the ground, or whatever the dollar amount is, it's not the same as an employee. I know if you're thinking you just left your job and you made whatever, 10, 12, $15 an hour to charge to make that, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to make $15 an hour at the end of the day. I'm good. You're really not. There's so many more expenses. And we can get into that a little later too. But so
There's
we can
just so
rant
much.
about it.
There's so much to unpack here, and I think we both find it hard, man. To just
It's hard to
stick
not
with
go
this
off
some.
rant.
Just oh man, there's just so much, and I can't stress that enough. Like I mean, just with the residential side of things, and we're trying not to go there, but like man, there's just so much to unpack. But
You absolutely have to. Everyone increases their prices eventually. I'm telling you, like I promise you, you will eventually charge at least what I charge.
we're
Because
trying to
you're going to be upset with yourself.
we're
You
trying
don't
to
want to be
save
upset.
you a year. We're trying to save you a year of bull crap, if not more. And that's what this is about. Is going to upgrading you to another level. We're trying to save you a year of nonsense. Learn from our mistakes. I'm telling you, if you listen to this, we're not going to steer you wrong here. Everyone has advice. I'm only speaking on my failures and success. Same with Paris. We're only speaking on our failures and success, and we both agree going into this route work when you're starting out with these low prices, it is a complete disaster, and you're going to hate yourself later on for every moment you wasted chasing after nothing. Period. It's nothing. It may feel good, it may relieve the pressure for a while, but it's not worth it. I tell you that now. Um,
Hey,
and
man.
then I guess one last thing too is with the pricing, and we can move on to tools.
Actually, I
With
want to break it. I got a guy pulling in, two pulling in right now. We could. I think it would be perfect to just chop this off of and just call it what it is. We're just talking about pricing things right, and we can make
yeah,
it a whole another segment. So if someone's clicking on this video, they know exactly that. It might be better
yeah,
that way.
yeah,
We
that'd
can
be
make
cool.
4 or 5 steps. We'll just talk into tools the next one. What
All
do
right,
you think?
awesome. Yeah. I mean, if you got to run, I'm just gonna say one last thing with the
Yeah, that's perfect.
yeah, you got now. We'll end it and pick it up from there. One thing I want to point out is with the pricing, like how we showed you a diagram. If it's $15, that is your price every single time you go to clean. So if someone wants biweekly, $15. If they want monthly, increase it by 25%. If they want weekly service, $15. It doesn't matter because you go more frequently. The amount of work doesn't change, and that goes back to travel time. I got to come to you every time back and forth. That costs me money.
There, there's so many different things to this, but if they're not going regularly, and that's fine. I usually charge more for that. If it's quarterly, semi-annual, annual, I have different pricing for that. Don't want to get into everything specific, but if it's annually, they're going to be really bad. So I typically charge what I would charge a house, maybe a little bit less, more like $3 per pane, just because they're going to be the reason you're priced a little bit lower on monthly stuff. It's going to be easy to maintain. You're not going over 2-3 times. That's why you charge 2-3 times as much.
Yep.
And that's not to say don't do cleanups for free either. Removing decals, if you're going to get your
Oh
razor blades
man.
and all that's extra. We're charging $1 a pane just for regular cleaning. So if they want, okay, I got all this tape and stuff. It's fine if it's a piece or here. You might have like a bar that you're cleaning that has that. But if it's a first time clean, you might not want to even get into that. But yeah. Charge more for that. That's more like 3 times the price. Average depends on what you're cleaning up, though. Just so you know. Okay.
Yep. All right. So we'll be back. This is part
All right.
one. Peace.
Talk to you later.
All right.